site to site in a timely manner to meet the IEPs or whatever they're qualified for. I'm wondering, I noted that one of them provides sign, but that you answered my question whether we have an independent contract with another company that provides American Sign, and you indicated that we do have one. So we wouldn't necessarily be using these two companies for the American Sign language. And then my primary concern was with competing vendors, I would expect that there would be some concern about fairness in regards to the allocation of the work. And I'm wondering if the superintendent can share his plan regarding the division of work should the board approve all 4 vendors, or how that's handled appropriately in the for fairness, because we wouldn't want to have unfair allegations or discriminations concerns.
Well, I think first we'd always look at, servicing the needs of the populations and ensuring that people are on time and where they need to be for IEPs or an SST or whatever it is. So I think we'd look at for local translators as much as possible from any one of the 4 groups, and obviously the 2 independents are local. We'd also run just monthly reports to ensure that with the larger 2 firms, we were looking at, even distributions, especially if they're both servicing our needs. But if for some reason one of the organizations isn't able to get translators at the locations on time, we would take that into consideration. But we would, easily be able to manage this by, just looking at monthly reports and seeing how we're allocating. Obviously, we do want to save money, and so we will be going with the most cost-effective choices that we can. And the fact that one of the vendors is charging $30 an hour would definitely be a consideration in using that person as often as possible. And the other vendors for Spanish are all pretty much charging the same rates. And so at that point, then it would be whoever can, how we can ensure that they're going to be in the right location at the right time. And then looking at the minimum, like was saying, is there work that we'll be able to cluster together. But I think, again, we're going to go and start looking at how to utilize our own in-house people as much as possible, because we believe there is a cost savings available there.
I would just return to my original motion, which is I still think we go with the 3 that have agreed to be the lowest price, and then if Advanced Interpreting Services wants to repropose and come up with a different plan, then we could evaluate it at that time. But my original motion was just for 3 that are known to be lower priced.
So before I call for the vote, thank you. During the discussion, after the motion had been made, I did receive a public comment card. So we have one public comment card for this, Carmen Terrones.
My name is Carmen Terrones. I am Local 1 CST Unit President. Most of my questions have been answered. Thank you. I only have one request. I hope that this board makes the right decision in writing contracts that are financially stable for the district. After all, my unit is the one that has been affected the most with the cuts of hours and work reduction. So we are looking very closely at the decisions that this board is making when approving contracts. If there's savings, I hope that this board can look into the savings. I have been with the district 15 years. I have used California Translation while I was working in special ed and student services. We never have an issue with them. If they're looking for reference, that could be one, but again, that can be a conflict of interest, so I probably cannot be used. But thank you very much for going over these questions. I got almost everything answered. Thanks.
So the motion is we're not approving contracts. I just want to make sure that everyone understands we're not approving a contract. We're just approving the list of vendors that we would be looking at entering contracts with. So there is no contract approval, it's just the list of vendors who we would be going into with. So I have a motion by Ms. Hanson to use these three, with a second by Ms. Mayo. So I will call for a vote. Sorry, let me try this again.
Motion in a second.
Yes, I did. A voting button. Motion carries 3-2.
Madam President, I would like to make another motion.
Okay. Motion, yes.
And I would like to make the motion that we also extend the offer to provide services to AIS, and that further we provide direction to staff that they negotiate contracts with these vendors and require any vendor that wishes to participate in this opportunity to adhere to the lower pricing structure.
Okay, motion by Mr. Eberhart. Do I have a second? For discussion?
Again, just in support of the motion, I think Ms. Hanson's correct that we have, I think we have an obligation financially to utilize the lowest pricing structure. I also think we have a responsibility to go back to a vendor that our own staff has said has done good work for our district and extend an offer and an opportunity. It does two things. It ensures that we get the best pricing, and it also provides our staff with the flexibility they need to ensure that they always have someone that can be on the spot at the sites providing these services to our students. I think it's completely fair, and it also allows us to judge these two vendors, specifically the two vendors that will be providing like services, in a side-by-side competitive environment, if you will. And it allows staff to come back at the end of that contractual time when it's time to renew these contracts and report to the board the findings in a side-by-side comparison of the two vendors. So I think it adheres to all the concerns about finances, but it provides the best services to our students.
Any additional comments?
Well, I'm very comfortable with the three that we already have selected. I have faith that those services will be provided, and I'm very comfortable and reassured by the idea that we'll be looking more at in-house, how we can maybe cut some of the costs that way rather than go to additional outside vendors. I would like to see us shift our attention to how we can cut costs by utilizing staff. So I would stop with these three and feel very comfortable, and then expand it into some in-house support and cost cutting that way.
Ms. Mayo, did you have a comment?
I just had one other question that I forgot to ask earlier. It was reported to me that the vendors use the same pool of translators. So I was wondering, Dr. Lawrence, if you were able to verify that, or if Ms. Duarte